are going to pull the plug, apparently.
That's a nice way to put it.
That's a fantastic way to put it because at some point, as adults, we all have to make a decision,
Mm, mm,
and we
mm.
have to decide what is it that we are going to do.
True. Wow. Leland, have you finished with that? Because I'm
Absolutely.
my here here here's the thing that I've been struggling with for the last couple days, and what I've been struggling with is the the reluctance, the inability of other people who are presented with an opportunity that they ask for, and they're not taking advantage. I started to say full advantage, but advantage of it, meaning they're not doing what they need to do or should be done to get where they want to be. Um, and I think in a session some time ago, I talked about the fact that we need to be leaders, we need to be readers or what have you. And I went back to some books that are foundational to me, and one was The Magic of Thinking Big. And if you've read it, fine. If you haven't read it, that's all fine. But in reading that book, there was a chapter that struck a nerve with me, and I periodically go back and deal with it. And then title of that is "Cure Yourself of Excusitis, the Failure Disease." And and I sat back and I thought about it, and I'm going like, okay, fine, because wrapped into that is that I have a tendency to procrastinate. I overestimate my ability to get something done because I think I can do almost anything I put my mind to. And as a result of that, I sometimes put too much on my plate. Now I'm stressing myself. Okay. I know I can do it, but now the time is ticking away. So to me, that's part of the excusitis, a part of my failure. And I work diligently to try to not make excuses. There are genuine reasons as to why something does or doesn't happen. I don't want it to be an excuse. I want it to be factual. I'm ill. That's not an excuse. Now, if I don't feel well, and I use the fact that I'm not feeling well keep me from doing something. Do I feel well today, Leland? We talked about how did I say I was feeling today?
You're getting better.
I'm getting better. I'm asthmatic. I'm not doing well. I had a fire in the fireplace. And it would have been very easy for me, Leland, to have said to you, hey, listen, man, I'm not feeling well. We're not going to record today. Okay? But this is important, and I dwelled on it for a while. That being the case, I reflected on my childhood, and I was saying that one of the challenges that I had was I grew up where parents punished you with a switch, and I could handle that. The thing I couldn't handle was my mom scolding me for my attitude, my disposition, or the things that I had done. Oh man, it would hurt me, and it hurts me today. And why do I say that? Because I am careful on what I say about myself. I didn't call my kids stupid or crazy or dumb or lazy. Those are words that I didn't use because those are words, things that were caused to me. So in the book, what do you say when you talk to yourself? What I do is I said I need to change my habits. Okay, we all got habits, and we don't realize how the habits that we have may be precluding us from being a better self, a better me. If I don't change some of my habits and some of my idiosyncrasies, so I'm going back and I'm reading and said, okay, what is it? What are some of the problems that I have? What are some of the triggers that cause me to be a procrastinator or make excuses or become defiant or all of those things. What are they? So I'm constantly trying to find out what may have happened in my tender years that affect me in my twilight years. And I think we all run into that. And then I said, okay, well, fine, fine. Okay, Hank, what else is going on here? And I said, okay, fine. There's another book that I read periodically, and it's called "Release Your Brakes." And in the book, the part that I like is take charge. Just take charge of your life. Now, taking charge of your life, you say, "Well, I'm in charge." Well, the expression is, "When in charge, take charge." Are you so in charge that you sleep well at night? You said, "Well, what does that have to do with it?" If you're not sleeping well at night, it's either you got a bad mattress or a bad attitude. Okay? So, what am I saying? If there's something that's worrying you, figure out what it is and get over it. If you're going to hang on to stuff, okay? How can you be clear-headed about the future? Have you decided what's important to you? In fact, my mentor said to me, I was busy, I was climbing the corporate ladder, I was doing this, I was never home, I didn't have time for my family, I didn't have time for me. And he said to me, he says, "Hank, do you have any idea as to what your current uh, employment is doing to your family?" And I thought about it, and I'm going like, "Well, what are you talking about?" In the point he was making to me, again, it caused me to pause. And I sat back and I'm thinking, I'm leaving home at 6:30 in the morning. I'm getting home at 7 o'clock in the evening. I'm working on weekends. I'm doing all this, climbing this freaking step, this corporate ladder. And what I realized was my ladder was a step ladder. My ladder was leaning against the wrong wall. Okay. My ladder, the rung I wanted to get on, was somebody else was standing on it, and there was someone above that person and someone above that person. So you either got to knock somebody else off the wall, or I need to get off that ladder and figure out what was important to me. So I left corporate America. You say, "You crazy?" No. And then the last thing I'm going to just say today is I've talked about this one before, and it's in a book called The Slight Edge. And hopefully I can put a bow on this. And in the book, The Slight Edge, you have to read it. I'm not going to tell you. It just says, again, your philosophy creates your attitude, and your attitude creates your actions, and your actions create your results, and your results create your life. And the only thing I'm here today, Leland, I'm here today to tell people, what's your philosophy about a lot of stuff? What,
But your
what's
life,
what,
your life will confirm your philosophy.
oh, have, whew. And I hope we're not here trying to preach to you. We're just trying to help you to get out of your own way so that you can see clearly. And then once you start to see clearly and you're driving and you're using your GPS, please follow the GPS. Well, I've been here before. Well, the GPS has a different view of the road that you're traveling.
That's right.
That satellite up there is telling you there's a car parked on the left. There's a police up on the right. There's a detour. And if you say, "Well, shoot, man, I'm just going to go down the street. I'm only 2 miles away," and you go down, all of a sudden you hit a roadblock.
And real quick, because we're even at the end, if this is making sense to you guys, and if you need more help with that, please, 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 if you see the recording, just really reach out to us. Put your questions and comments in the chat, and we will see you guys